Okay, so another game from Team 45 League at ICC. A lot of London systems. Seems to be very popular these days. Okay, both sides are developing their pieces. Now, I guess here, I think white should develop something. And then it takes on, it would become a Sicilian if black takes on d4. So let's do this move. Now, he doesn't have to do this, but I'm just saying. Now that's a Sicilian defense. And maybe black doesn't know the Sicilian defense. It's good, we don't know that, but it's good to know, all your main lines. Oh wait, we have a problem here. See, I'm slow on tactics. Okay, well. All right. It's that London bishop that did it. Got so forked. All right. Now here, I'm kind of against Queen E3. Let's take the bull by the horns. Let's castle. Give a chance to improve, help us double our rooks. Okay, well, look what white has here. He's got one extra piece developed. And he's got his rook centralized. Black needs to finish development here. White only needs this. So let's play here. Now I'm just gonna slow play it and go here. That way, in case black decides to pin, I don't have to worry about double pawns. Okay. So where's black gonna go? Where's he gonna put that bishop? See, if he goes here, I might just kick it. Okay, and then if you take, white's picked up the bishop pair. It's not much, but it's something. What else can black do? Sorry. My mouse drifts and it hits the wrong buttons. Okay, back. Okay. There's no guarantee black's going to do this. I'm just analyzing. Okay.
Check.
This helps white double. Okay, so here. Now I went here. So say you go here instead. Well, now I'm going to come here and threaten to win 2 pieces for the rook. So what's black going to do? We don't know. Let's say he goes here. Okay, now white to play. Oh, look at this. Can we get away? Whoops. Can we get away with this? Now, unless that rook gets chased, unless this rook gets chased out, we've just won 2 pieces for the rook. White is theoretically winning this. Now that wasn't forced, but it's just a line. This is how I analyze. This is just a line. But see the drawback. Okay, the drawback with Queen E3 is that you're spending an extra tempo moving the queen. Now, yeah, you look at it and say, I can chase this queen. Well, that's true, you can. But if your plan was to castle queenside, it's only going to happen if you do it by hand. And maybe black is going to chase your queen. Oh, he's on a pawn. Okay, so black needs to cover his pawn or he's going to lose it. Okay. And he does chase the queen. Probably best to go into a pin. I don't know. White's idea is making sense. Black is getting a little cramped here. Now, there's some interesting stuff with this and followed by this. Crippling black's kingside pawns a little bit. Okay, well, this is good. Put pressure on the pin piece. Now, this queen doesn't really have any place to go. If the knight's pinned against it, and if it goes to e8, it's pinned there too. So I like white's choice. Good job. I just always have a first impression of what to do, and this didn't fit. Okay, so now white can make threats with bishop g5. Bishop g5 threatens to play bishop takes, followed by rook takes. So what is he doing? You know, these rook pawn moves are the death of you guys. I've been talking about them on the videos. Why play defense when you have offense? And usually you don't want to play moves like this. He's afraid of knight g4. All right, let's do this move. What's black going to do? We don't know. Suppose he comes here. All right, that's what you're afraid of. Let's see. Let's try this. He takes the queen. Let's take the queen. Now, if black takes the rook, we take this, and white's got 2 pieces for the rook once again. Okay? So, let's see, what did I do? I took this, and took this, then I took this. Now black can play something like this.
Check.
Okay, he can throw a check in. And now he can take the rook, but, you know, white still has 2 pieces for the rook. Now white doesn't even have to go into this line. He doesn't have to take on d7. Okay. So let's see, bishop g, okay. What was I playing bishop? Now here, right? Now, this is a threat. This is a threat. Okay. White has 2 threats here. How does black deal with those? So you want to come back? Okay, I'm going to take that. So h3 was not necessary. Bishop g5 was a strong move. So, you know, once again, like a Laberna move to make it white's turn, bishop takes. What's black going to do? It doesn't matter how he takes this back, he's dropping a piece. Okay, so black has to defend this position. As ugly as it seems, I think black needs to play here. Now, it looks like white can continue with the pressure with here. Okay. Now, he can counterattack a bishop, but, you know, we're just gonna keep things under pressure here. Okay, let's see. How about we do this? Now, we're going to get this next turn.
Check.
Throw a queen. You know, this looks incredibly strong for white. So, you know, when you're on the offense, you don't want to stop and play defense. You want to keep your offense alive, or it'll just go away. Knight e5, move 11. Let's see what's he talking about. Is it my very... You want to do it? You want to do it here? I guess you could do it here. But the drawback with that is we're not threatening to remove this defender. Although you're right, it does put another attacker on. It directly puts another attacker on d7. But you know, so there's more. You know, there's more than one way to do these things. But here, I'm gonna draw attention to one critical thing. You know, Pawnchain. Look at your clock. You have 4 minutes and 11 seconds more than you started with. Okay, you've gotten 450 seconds given to you on your increment. Okay, 420 seconds on your increment is 7 minutes. So you spent 3 minutes playing 10 moves. If you go at that pace, you'll spend 12 minutes to get to move 40 when you have 75 minutes to do. You're not going to have success if you move quickly. Okay, your game is still strong with h3. I mean, white is better here. But black now might be able to wiggle out of this. And, I'm not exactly sure how he does that yet, but, I'm thinking, how do we break this horrendous pin? It takes time. Maybe he can play Queen C8, and the pin is broken. Let's see what black does. Well, this is going to keep him in a pin, so you probably need to take. Okay, now we no longer have this, and let's back up. Okay, wait, bishop here, bishop here. What was I saying? Okay, what was I saying? I was saying this. Let's come back to this move. Well, I'm going to take that. And if you take that, I'm going to take that. And now, let's see. Maybe black's wiggling out of this. We saw something like this before. Now the queen has to go here. Oh, that's just an ugly place for a queen. So here, let's keep the pressure on. This threatens this. E6. Now we get a check.
Check.
How about this
Check.
move? Now, how do you deal with this threat? So that costs black the queen. I mean, it's just one sample line. We can't defend E7 this way because there goes the rook. There's a lot of stuff here, but this doesn't help your game. Be aggressive. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, well it's good. I'm happy you castle, but look at your clock again. That clock is gonna, if you toss your advantage away, it's because of your clock. Now black he's basically averaging 45 seconds a move. So, but he's also 250 points rated higher than you. So, your game is playable, but you don't really have an advantage. Now look at this wonderful square he's given you. Okay, you don't want it yet. That's all right. Okay, doubled rooks, ready to drop in here. Okay, okay, where are you going with that knight? To here. Where's it going? Let's see. I'm not too sure about this knight move. Ideally, I'd like to get this knight on this square, but that's very difficult. We can get there with a little bit of work. You have to go through E3, meaning you have to come back here, move your G pawn, move the queen somewhere, put the knight on G3 or G2, and then it goes to E3. This is a strong move. Okay, what's black going to do? We don't know. Say he takes. Hey, look, you got a protected pass pawn, and it's ready to run some more maybe. Or you're going to anchor it in. Black will have a very difficult time beating you from this position. Let's see what happens. Okay, well, you're being the aggressor. That queen looks a little out to dry there. I want to sack here. I mean, I don't see a follow-up, but I want to sack there. Here's an idea. It's close. You here, and if queen here, when we sack, we get a knight fork, but he gets to part with his queen. Let's see what you did, and we're going to look at B3. Okay, this is fine. This is a good move. What's this? See if we can combine anything here. Where's this queen going to go? I think that's the only square. Now look at this. Kaboom. Okay, now check.
Check.
Now, have you made any progress here? You've got the black king exposed at the price of the exchange. Let's see, what else have you got here? Well, that knight on e1, little misplaced, but anyway, no, your move's better, but you know, grandmaster, I'm not a grandmaster, but grandmasters look at bad moves too. Okay, so I saw the theme of drawing him into that fork. Okay, so he has to deal with this. He might be able to take this, and he does. Okay. Now you got to check on f6.
Check.
Okay, so for a pawn, white definitely has some play here. There's a b6 pawn loose. Let's see what you do. Chase the queen out. You don't want the queen defending here, I'm assuming. Okay, now it doesn't really threaten anything. So this looks strong for you. Yep, very good. But see your clock? I mean, you're even gaining more time. You're doing okay, but we need a follow up, and so far black is playing good defense, and you're a pawn down. Okay, so we can still steal our pawn back. Might be a good idea. Okay, got to chase this queen out and hold on to your pawn. Well, look, here's my idea. Let's do this. See, we keep the d file. Black can't oppose it. Now, if he wants to be a pawn ahead, he can. But look what you've got here. You've got doubled rooks on the open file. You have a reasonably active queen. You've got a couple of targets. Okay, he has a target he's looking at too. But I think you're close to having compensation here for the pawn down. Okay. Let's see. It's white to play. We don't care if he checks us. Let's protect this first.
Check.
Okay. Now, what's black going to do? Well, we don't know, but let's try to find his best move. White doesn't really have a threat, but white has a rock solid position here. Black he can't really activate his rooks. Well, here's why. He's just going to steal this one, right? Right? And if he goes this way, he's saying, I want to come back now. Okay. Now, I pick this up. Now you're definitely better here. Your pawn structure is better. You have the doubled rooks. You have a centralized queen. Black has a couple of isolated pawns. This is in your favor. So this is playable, but take a look at my idea. Okay. Now we can chase the queen. Oops, that's supposed to be a knight move. Okay. Now you're still doing well. The difference is you didn't isolate. In my line, you isolated the black queen side pawns, and you got your pawn back. You have control of the d file. You're attacking e5. Okay, you're doing fine, but that clock. Okay, he defends. What happens? There's no move. White resigns. Why does white resign? Well, maybe he had to leave. Sometimes, I see this online. People abandoned a game or had to resign. I don't quite understand the resignation here. Let's see. It's your move. See, okay. Let's look at this from a simplistic point. Okay, you're down a pawn. In theory, we could say that you're going to lose, okay, simply because you're down a pawn. But in compensation for that pawn, your queen is better than his queen. Your rooks are better than his rooks. Okay, this rook on f8 can't even move. You have the only pawn of yours which is weak that could be maybe won is this pawn. Now, let's just imagine that the queens and rooks were off the board. It becomes a simple king and pawn ending. How does black win? Well, he wins by advancing his pawns and creating a passed pawn on the king side, right? That's where he has his pawn majority. But with the queens and rooks on the board, black cannot advance his pawns because he's probably going to end up getting checkmated. Okay, so and for black to get a checkmate out of this position seems highly unlikely. So let's back this up so I can get rid of the circles and arrows. Let's just go back here. Okay, the reason I'm going back here is I'm keeping this rook out of here. Okay, because your queen's in such a fine position. I'm also creating a threat over here. Okay, and then if he comes here and attacks this pawn, once again we can just go protect it. Okay, black can't really improve his position. So black could play this, but you can simply take this guy. Now your rooks aren't connected. That's the drawback. But we can see that if he takes here and here, you have your pawn back, and you're not worse off here. So I don't think you had to resign here. If this move keeps you going, but I don't know the circumstances. But Pawnchain, you came up with some moves that were better than what I came up with. The Queen E3 plan worked out really well. So I want to thank everyone for watching this one.